Hey everyone, Tim Howard from Coastal Preps here with the cross country preview. Going to start on the girls' side because that's where the most talent is back. I was looking earlier, and of the top 25 fastest times from last season, all of those girls returned. So I think it was between the four girls had all of the top 25 fastest times, and all four returned. So a lot of talent on the girls' side. The Hoggard girls won the state title back in 2021. It was actually the 2020 season, but it went into January, so they won the title in 2021. And then last year's regular fall season, the Vikings finished seventh. But plenty of talent returning from that team, including Molly Parker, who was one of the best runners, has been one of the best runners in the area since her freshman year. Had a great finish at the state championship last year and is expecting big things. Ashley Summers made a really big jump last year as a sophomore. She's now a junior and should also really help the Vikings to finish. Potentially, I know they'd love to get back into the top five in the state. Like I said, won the state title, then finished seventh a year ago. So I know they'd love to get back into the top five. And with as much talent as they've got coming back, I think that's a real possibility for the Vikings. They're going to be challenged, though, especially in the conference, by Laney, who returns reigning Coastal Preps Runner of the Year, Olivia Buffalini, who was a top five placer in the state last year. And she's going to, obviously have another big season this year. Isabella Borelli, another returner for the Vikings. I mean, for the Buccaneers, and they had plenty of freshmen last year that also really helped their team, and so I think Laney will improve upon that 10th place finish at the States from a season ago. I think they're another team that could be right there around the top five in the state. Should be a really good battle between Laney and Hoggard in the conference, and then obviously at the regional, and then we'll see which of those two finishes higher in the state as well. In the private schools, Coastal Christian girls, another really experienced team that is looking for that elusive state title. The boys team won the state title last year, so I know the girls would love to get their shot at a state title. After finishing eighth in 2020, they went up to third last year, so a big jump for the Centurions in just a year, and I think they could, maybe make an even bigger jump this year and maybe get that top spot. Zoe Boss, one of the best runners in the area for the Centurions, is a state championship contender for the individual race at the NCISA A3A state championships. So look for her to lead the way for Coastal Christian. Cheyenne Grevin, another runner that finished, I believe, in the top 20 in the state last year. So between those two, Coastal Christian should be strong. Some additional runners, some freshmen that have joined the team, so will be a very strong team this year. Some individuals that I'm going to look at. Caitlin Obremski is a runner that's been around since her freshman year over at Topsail, and if not for some injuries last year, probably would have finished top five in the state in the 4A classification. Look for her to have a bounce back season this year and be right there in the discussion with Molly Parker and Olivia Buffalini for the best runner in the conference. A freshman that should have a really good season, Danner Harrison over at Ashley, had a really good season at Murray Middle School last season, so one that I think will be probably the top freshman in the area, so certainly one to watch. Move over to the boys' side now, where I think it's Hoggard and then everybody else in the Mid-Eastern Conference. The Vikings have finished top 10 in the state the past 3 years, eighth last year, but they were second in that 2020/2021 season that had to move around due to COVID. So Hoggard did lose a lot of talent last year. Coastal Preps Runner of the Year, Evan Pena, has graduated, along with some other seniors. So there will be a bit of a rebuild for Coach Billy Mason, but he does have Luke Adams back and Ryan Ibarra. Will Clancy's another runner. So those three will kind of lead the way for the Vikings, who should have no problem winning their at least third straight conference title, maybe more than that. But they should be able to to kind of roll in the conference, and then we'll see how they do at regionals and states. Laney did qualify for the state championship last year, but they lost quite a bit of talent off of that team. So I think they'll fall back a little bit and maybe challenged by Ashley for that number 2 spot. A team that's kind of on the rise too. West Brunswick returns a lot of talent. Could potentially sneak into maybe that top 4 or 5 in the Mid-Eastern Conference. I know Coach Jimmy Caraway is excited about the potential of his boys, and that's a school that really hasn't had too much success in cross country. But if they could finish in the top 4 in the conference, I think that would be huge for the Trojans. Over in the private schools, like I said, Coastal Christian won the boys state title last year, and for the second straight year had the individual champion as well. Nicholas Scrocco won it in 2020, and then Jack Starrett won it last year as a sophomore, which meant you would have thought he would have had a chance to win it 3 times, but unfortunately his family moved to Texas. His dad is working at Baylor University now, so the Starretts have moved away from the area. So that's obviously a huge loss when a defending state champion leaves your team. But the Centurions are still in pretty good shape. If they're going to have a 3rd straight individual state champion, it'll probably be Thad O'Neill or Tyler Niloff that wins it for them. Those are the top 2 returning runners for the Centurions. Both finished in the top 5, or I'm sorry, top 10 in the state last year. I believe Thad was 6th and Tyler was 8th. So a pair of top 10 finishes for those 2. Plenty of talent, other runners, for Coastal Christian. So I would say, they're either the front runner or maybe, right there among the top 3 teams in the 3A classification of the Independent School Association. We lost a lot of talent on the boys' side. I think of the top 25 fastest times, I don't believe we have anybody returning out of that group. Maybe down into the low 20s, but not a whole lot. A lot of seniors were in that group last year, and then obviously the loss of Jack Starrett as well takes some of those top times away. So we'll see kind of who elevates their running and their times this year. The good thing about cross country, and the cool thing is, there's always runners that just kind of come out of nowhere that I don't really have on my radar, and that's the cool thing. If you spend 2 or 3 months in the summertime training and really working towards improving your times, you can come out in the fall and really come out of nowhere and be right in that top group of runners. So I'm looking forward to the first couple races, seeing who some of these new names are that are going to emerge as the top runners in the area. I do think Ashley has a couple people that will be pretty strong this year. Isaiah Perry is a runner that should have a strong season. And then I mentioned Danner Harrison. Well, Sawyer Harrison is on the boys' side. That will be a rising freshman at Ashley as well. So looking for those 2 at Ashley to kind of be the top 2 runners for the Screaming Eagles. Like I said, I think they're right in that discussion, probably with Laney for 2nd place behind Hoggard. So looking forward to a great cross-country season. I know, like I said, with girls tennis and girls golf, another sport that's a non-revenue sport that doesn't get a ton of coverage from most local media outlets. I try to make it out to several races a year, and obviously I'll be at the conference championship, which is the biggest meet of the year. So if you've got somebody that runs in cross country and you're looking to see some coverage of that sport, I would encourage you to follow me along on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Coastal Preps on all of those social media platforms. You'll be able to find me. And then I'd love it if you would buy a subscription. You can do a monthly package for $7.50 a month, or you can do a yearly package for $75. So I think with the amount of coverage I provide, well worth that price. So hope you guys have a great day. Looking forward to a great season, and be sure to check out the next upcoming videos, which will be boys soccer, volleyball, and football.